All right, this is Woody with Hindsight. I got most of the parts mocked up on Street Glide. Got a Hogworks tank, Hogworks tour pack, Nasty Hog side covers and extended saddlebags and extended rear fender. Still using the stock fairing for the front. I got a Paul Yaffe front fender that I had before and a chin spoiler. So I don't have to worry about mocking all that up because it's already been on the bike. All this other stuff is new, so I had to make sure everything was going to fit. Having a little bit of a seat issue still. I have, Wendell's got a friend that he works with that he's working on another seat for me, trying to make it fit a little bit better. I'm not a big fan of the way this thing, the way the tank and the seat fit, just it's not up to my standards. I don't like the way it looks. It looks like it's going to be nice and comfortable, but I still don't like the way it looks. But anyway, so I'll give you a little walk around of what's going on. I got to do a little work here. It's touching right here, so I got to do a little bit of fabrication and clean up there. It's like that on both sides. I really like the way the saddlebags sit down a little bit lower. The rear fender and everything is, I love the way it looks. I'll pull the the tour pack off in a second. Put new exhaust on it because nothing goes out the back now, it all comes off the side. The exhaust is Freedom Performance 2-in-1 turnout. Done a little bit of powder coating on the primary, the clutch cover and the timing chain cover. It was all, it was starting to look kind of nasty. So while I had it all apart, I had the exhaust off of it. I went ahead and took care of it. But anyway, so now it's time to disassemble it and get it all prepped up for some paint. I got I think I'm gonna go with an orange. Right now I'm gonna go with this. I'm just gonna do it just all one color. So modified Lamborghini color. Got some pearl in it and everything. So in the sun it'll pop quite a bit. So stay tuned. All right, Woody with Hindsight. Got all the motorcycle parts sanded, ready for primer. Done some body work to a couple of the aftermarket pieces I bought. Weren't quite as straight as what they probably should have been. So I smoothed them out, done a bunch of block work and everything. So I'm gonna put 3 or 4 good coats of primer on it and then reblock it, and then it should be ready to paint. Everything seemed like it went pretty well. Got the 6.6 gallon tank from Paul Yaffe. And it actually came in and had a couple dents in it, and then I done some smooth up work on it. It needed a little bit cleanup. Extended saddlebags, had a couple waves in it up here in the front. I'm just on both of them. There in the back, it wasn't really all that straight. The side pieces had little indentions right here where you can see the back of it has the little stud and everything. It didn't look good. So there wasn't no sense in painting it if it wasn't going to be right. So I took a little bit of extra time and cleaned them all up. But there's the fender the front fender that I've had for a while. And I bought some color from Nasty Hog, I believe, when I painted this fender originally. And it must have been lacquer, because when I cleared it, it done some really weird stuff and it never really stuck all that well. So I stripped all the clear off of it. And then I sanded everything down with 150 and then went back over with some 240. So I'm gonna put a couple coats of primer on it, smooth it back up, so we're all good with that. The rear fender, this thing actually didn't look too bad. It had a couple waves in it right in here that I didn't like.
So I went ahead and smoothed it up, blocked it all out really good. But so I think we're gonna be good. The original fairing just had some rock chips. I mean, it's a 2014 and had 36,000 miles on it. So she had a few rock chips in her. So went ahead and cleaned it up. So I'm gonna prime it all up really good. So hang tight. All right, done priming. Everything, I didn't see anything that jumped out at me other than I have a cluster of pinholes. Probably won't be able to see them, but there's a cluster of pinholes right here that I'm gonna have to take care of. I may end up reblocking the saddlebags. There's so much area that I don't want those to be wavy. Because it's just so basically flat that, you know, it'll stand out if it's super wavy. So it'll kind of depend on when I block it, how bad it looks. Other than that, the tank came out really nice. Pretty happy with it. Wasn't too worried about the fairing. I knew it was going to be all right. This thing turned out great. I was extremely excited about it. As soon as I put the first coat of primer on, I thought it looked really, really good. So pretty happy about that. Front fender, like I said, it wasn't going to be a big deal. So yeah, other than basically the big flat part of the saddlebag, I think I'm going to be all right. So stay tuned. Tomorrow I'm going to come in and I'll probably I'll fix these pinholes. I'll spread some stuff on there. I just glanced over. I saw another pinhole right in here. I'll fix those, and then I'll put a little bit of filler in there. Let it dry for a while, and then I will block everything down. And you know, as long as it blocks out all right, I will just start prepping everything for paint. I'm kind of hoping to have, this is Monday the 3rd. I'm hoping to be painting everything by Saturday, other than my tour pack that you can't probably see. It's over here, sitting on top of Justin's Pilot. I haven't tore it apart or anything yet. That's kind of not so much of my worry at this point in time because I'm not going to get super carried away with it. So anyway, stay tuned. All right, this is Woody with Hindsight. I got all my Street Glide parts all set up here in the paint booth. We got to wipe everything down, get some sealer. I'm using a modified Lamborghini color that I came up with, so it's actually a 3-stage, so I got to put sealer. I have to paint everything white, and then probably 3, maybe 4 coats of this orange pearl looking stuff, and then clear. So I'm gonna be in here for a while, but I'll give you a little walk around on everything set up. I got everything masked up and ready to go. So here we go. It's going to be a long process in here. I have the feeling I'm gonna be in here probably spraying for a good 2.5, maybe 3 hours. I'm gonna get the sealer on it, and then I'll probably end up going around and doing a little scuff sand on it and get any dirt nibs or anything that's on it. Get them all sanded out, so when I start putting color on, that when I polish everything later on, I won't have anything weird pop up. So stay tuned. All right, so this is Woody. I got sealer on it, baked it for a while, cooled it off, went over scuff sanded everything with 800, got it cleaned up, made sure there wasn't any dirt nibs or anything in it. Wiped it all back down, tacked it off, then I sprayed the white base coat on it. Like I said, this was a Lamborghini color. Sprayed the white base coat on it. So now I'm baking it, right? Let me make sure. Now I'm baking that. So I'm gonna let it dry for 10-15 minutes. Nobody wants to see the prep. So I didn't video any of that stuff because nobody cares. Everybody wants to see the shiny, really cool color, everything. So I'm gonna mix the color. You guys can watch do that. That one on the shaker. So like I said, this was a Lamborghini color that I modified. The original one was a little bit too, can't say pale, but it was too yellow looking. I wanted a little bit more orange, a little brighter. So I'm gonna add a little bit more orange. I made a spray out a couple months back, playing around with color, trying to get everything where I wanted it. So this is where I came up with it. All right, I promise you, right there does not do it justice. Wait till you see this in the sun. So anyway, I'm going to cool the booth off, get this set up in a gun. I'm probably going to have to put 4 coats on it. Like I said, it's a tri-stage. The more coats you put on it with this color, it seemed like after the 3rd coat, it doesn't get any darker, it doesn't change anything, so I want to make sure it's covered, make sure everything's the same, so when I put it all together, it doesn't look all mismatched. But I probably end up having to mix at least 1 more of these. Normally I would have done it in a gallon can, but we didn't have any clean gallon cans, so I couldn't put it in the shaker. So, have a good day. All right, as you can tell, everything's white. Got the color of the gun. I'm gonna start spraying. See what happens. bore you with 3 or 4 more coats of this, but the way it looked in the cup when it was all like completely thick, that's the way this will look when I'm done spraying. So I'll check back with you when I get all the color on it. So this is it. It's 2.5 coats of clear after 4 coats of base. Wanted to make sure I had enough on there so I can sand and polish it, make it look like glass. I haven't seen anything popped up on me yet. It has a black speck right there that bugs the hell out of me, but that happened in the last coat of clear. I'm hoping I can sand that out. Yeah, everything looked like it turned out really well. I'm about 3.5 hours in because it took me a lot longer to get around this. It was 12 minutes from start to finish on each pass. So, I'm tired, but I'm happy. It looks good. As long as it doesn't solvent pop up tomorrow or tonight, I'm only going to bake it for about 15 minutes and then let it sit overnight. And then I'll bake it in the morning and see what happens. Good night. Well, time to start building this thing. Got the old fuel pump and everything out of the old tank.
Got it installed in this. It seemed to be a little bit more of a pain in the butt than what I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of moving parts inside that tank. So it came out in several different pieces, so I got to get it all back in there and then put it all together while it's in the tank. It was a little bit of a challenge. I wasn't expecting that. Should have known better. I paint cars. I shouldn't be doing this. So anyway, it's all getting ready to go back together. I got all the parts home except for the tour pack. Didn't do anything last night after I got done polishing everything. I'm excited to get it back on. It's Easter Sunday. The kids went somewhere, so I'm just hanging out, doing my thing. So I'll give you a little sneak peek of what it looks like outside though. He said, until you get it in the sun, it does not do it justice. So anyway, like I said, I'm excited. Stay tuned. All right, so this is Woody. Got the bike done for the most part. Got a couple little detail items I still need to work on. Got a little spot up here that got a new dash panel coming for it. Wasn't really happy about it. Everything else came out really good. I noticed as I was building, it's got a couple double spots in it that I didn't get polished all the way. So I need to take care of those. But it's way too nice outside, so I'm gonna ride it to work tomorrow and give it a little shakedown run. Go around, tighten everything back up. It is a Harley Davidson, so it shakes and it rattles and it loosens things up. So I've had everything off of it, so I definitely want to make sure that parts don't come flying off of it. Said it got a new exhaust and everything on it, so I need to make sure that it's going to perform right. It doesn't need to be retuned. Other than that, everything went pretty well. Didn't have any major issues going back together. That's the good thing about building everything before you start painting it. But you shouldn't have any issues. So I used Speed Hacker on it. It's permacron, it's a solvent base. I didn't use water. Not anything bad against water, just the paint booth that we have up there at work. Water is not gonna work out. The environment, I live in Kansas City, so the environment really here is not optimum for water. And I like solvent. There's no issues with it. You don't have to worry about weather being a problem. But I use Speed Hacker solvent, permacron, 8600 clear. This is a Lamborghini LOE2 is the paint code on it, but I did modify it, so it's actually a little oranger, maybe a little darker than the original formula. I did put the formula, I think Mark's gonna stick it in there. So I used white sealer, actually a gray sealer. I didn't have white at the time. I used gray sealer, then I put 2 coats of white base on it. With this color, it takes 4 coats of color to get it, of orange to get it to where it is. So the first coat in the video, it's like I almost didn't do anything. So from there to here, it took a lot. Like I said, I think it was 12 minutes for every trip in the paint booth. So a complete white base coat, get everything completely covered. So when you start putting your orange on, you don't have any issues. You got to be very careful, make sure everything's covered. Even in the booth, I kept wondering if I was getting things right because some of the edges and angles, it looked like it was gold, like it has got a lot of gold pearl in it. It was showing up gold and I wasn't positive it was covered. But I just kept even. I knew I was getting it covered, and I just ignored what I thought I was seeing, what my eyes were tricking me on. And as you walk around it, there's nothing that's not covered. It all looks even. It all matches. That was my big fear. Like I said, I'm really happy the way it came out. It's way too nice outside not to be riding it. I waited way too long to get serious about it, but here it is. Hope you enjoy it.
Like I said, it definitely changes everything in the sun. So I do have a little issue that already in the process of fixing. I'm getting a new one of these because of that gap is horrible. And I screwed up and I ground a bunch of stuff off this to make this fit the tank and didn't take into account all the fuel pump and all the stuff that would be sticking up through there. So another one of those is on its way. I was going back and forth. I couldn't figure out if I wanted to paint it black or if I'm gonna leave it orange. Everybody is talking me into leaving it orange, but I'm thinking I'm gonna paint this little triangle. I think I'm gonna paint it black just to break it up a little bit. Because I don't know about you guys, but that's a lot of damn orange.